Tonight, a major setback in the search for Nancy Guthrie. The glove found near her home not matching in the DNA database, as the sheriff reveals to us the new leads they're now pursuing. Possible new clues in the videos was the suspect wearing a ring under that glove, plus the hope that DNA found inside the house could lead to a suspect. And the sheriff tells us that other tech companies, even Mark Zuckerberg, have reached out to help. Dangerous storms battering the west, violent winds triggering this deadly 30-car pileup. The desperate search for skiers trapped in an avalanche. Blizzard conditions sending drivers spinning out. Where the storms head next. Potomac sewage disaster. Millions of gallons of waste spewing into the river, now among the worst spills in U.S. history. How long will it take to clean up? The founder of the doorbell camera company Ring joins Top Story. I ask him about ththose Nest surveillance images, now critical evidence in the Guthrie case, and how they were likely tracked down deep in a database. Plus his response to outrage over the company's Super Bowl ad. A man snatching a child from her mother in terrifying attempted abduction. What happened next? Team USA's women of figure skating, known as the Blade Angels, take to the ice. Did they live up to the hype? Remembering Reverend Jesse Jackson, the civil rights icon who worked closely with MLK Jr., launched 2 historic presidential runs, and helped President Obama win the White House. The tributes pouring in. Plus, a man with a loaded shotgun and full tactical gear rushing the U.S. Capitol. How police stopped him. Top Story starts right now. Good evening. Tonight, a major setback, but also new hope in the search for Nancy Guthrie. The Pima County Sheriff telling NBC News they're chasing down a number of leads, including crucial DNA found in Nancy's home that could be a key to cracking this case. The sheriff tells us that DNA could belong to the suspect and that the analysis of it is very much ongoing, a process that could take days as it is sorted through the FBI database, CODIS, and genealogy sites. That lead still very much hot. But another has run cold. Tonight, we've learned that the gloves found 2 miles from the home did not have any matches in the database and did not match the DNA at the home. But police are still casting a wide net using a variety of advanced technologies, including the signal sniffer, which could potentially find Nancy's pacemakers from the skies. They're also working with Google to scrape through layers of video to try to retrieve more surveillance footage from that night. And checking local gun stores to identify the weapon seen in those videos and its unique holster, while still working closely with Walmart to track down the backpack sold there and the suspect's clothes, which may have also been purchased at Walmart. And tonight, a new possible lead gaining a major traction online was the suspect wearing a ring under his glove. You take a close look at this image, you can see sort of a sharp image right here when the light catches it. Could it be a ring, and help lead investigators to the man? Our team of crime scene experts are standing by to help break down what this means. But we begin tonight in Tucson and that illuminating conversation Liz Kreutz had with the sheriff.
Tonight, new challenges in the search for Nancy Guthrie. The DNA on the glove found 2 miles from her home did not match any DNA in the National Databank, nor did it match the DNA taken from her property. But the Pima County Sheriff tells us that DNA from the home could be the suspect's.
We believe that we may have some DNA there that may be our suspect, but we won't know that until that DNA is separated, sorted out, maybe admitted to CODIS, maybe through genealogy.
That's pretty critical.
That's pretty
absolutely
big. Absolutely. But we have other leads, too, that are big.
Among them, talking to Walmart, where the suspect's backpack is from, and analyzing the surveillance video. Tonight, the sheriff acknowledging a potential new detail. Look here, you can see some kind of ring maybe showing through the suspect's glove.
Have you noticed that the suspect may have a ring on, like something that looks like a class ring?
I look at the same photo you look at, and I see it. I see people have circled and said,
yeah.
My speculation is I'm going to give that to my team. They'll look at that, they'll analyze it, and we'll see. Maybe it is.
Something else they're looking into, the suspect's gun holster.
We know he had a gun. We know he had a holster that had some pretty unique characteristics. We can't quite identify it yet, but that's being worked on. So naturally, we go to our gun shops everywhere and say, have you seen this guy?
Nanos says investigators are also using an array of high-tech technology in the search, including a tool called a signal sniffer to try to track a signal from Nancy's pacemaker. He says Google is also still trying to recover more surveillance footage from Nancy's Nest cameras, which he describes as a challenging process given the videos were recorded over.
They call it scratching. It's like the way it was described to me is you've got 8 layers of paint and you want to peel down to the 6th layer. But you get to that 5th layer and you might tear the 6th layer. So there, it's a delicate operation for them.
While on the ground, 400 investigators still working the case 17 days into the search.
As long as we have the ability to chase a lead, it's not cold. And we have thousands of leads we're looking at. We're going to find Nancy, and we're going to find who did this.
Okay, Liz Kreutz joins us tonight from Tucson. Liz, we know Google is offering their help in this case, but other private companies have stepped up as well?
Yeah, the sheriff says they are receiving a number of calls from various companies, including, he says, from Mark Zuckerberg himself. He also says Apple has reached out to them. And he says just yesterday he received a call from a company that's now going to help them prioritize and organize all of the thousands of tips that have been pouring in. He says they're all going to be doing that pro bono. And remember, Tom, they have received so many tips. He says between 30 and 40,000 tips just for the sheriff's department, not including the FBI, since Nancy went missing. Tom.
Okay, Liz, we thank you for that. I want to bring in our law enforcement experts tonight. Mary Ellen O'Toole, a retired FBI profiler, and Cece Moore. She's an investigative genealogist. We thank you both for being here. Cece, I want to start with you on this DNA found at the scene that may belong to the suspect. We've known about this DNA since Friday, so some had said if there was going to be a match, we'd know about it by now. Why is that not the case? And walk us through what police are doing with this DNA right now.
Well, it's very compelling that they confirmed they did find an unidentified person's DNA in the home. To me, that's bigger than the glove. The reason that they may not have been able to find a match yet in that could be that they're dealing with a mixture, perhaps. When you deal with mixed DNA, perhaps between Nancy's and this unknown suspects, it can be more complex. It can take more time for the scientists to separate out those 2 different DNA profiles. Of course, I'm speculating, but that would make sense. And you see that a lot in violent crimes where there's a mixture of 2 different people's biological materials.
You know, they haven't told us where exactly they found this DNA yet. We know there was that blood outside the house right under the ring cam, or the Nest cam, I should say. Police are withholding that to preserve their investigation. What kind of DNA do you think they have if they're having to separate or sort it out, as the sheriff said?
You know, it really does make me wonder, but we know there was some kind of altercation where Nancy was injured. And so it's possible that they do have some mixed DNA from that, perhaps mixed blood. If she fought back, then she could have also injured the suspect, and their DNA could be a mixture. There's all different kinds it could be as well. There's transfer DNA, or what is referred to as touch DNA. They could have both touched the same thing. Saliva, when he was disabling the camera and was leaning forward, it looks like he had a flashlight in his mouth. So possibly there is some saliva that could have landed on the ground in that area and was collected. So we really won't know until we get more information, but I feel very confident that they will be able to identify this person, whether it's through the law enforcement databases or through investigative genetic genealogy.
Mary Ellen, there's a lot of conversation online about the alleged ring the suspect may be wearing under his glove. You heard Liz and the sheriff talking about it. Do you think these theories have merit? And talk to me about what you're seeing in that video.
Well, yes, I do think that it has merit. Any identifying piece of jewelry or clothing that can be put out there can cause somebody to look at it and say, I'm not really sure that that's my neighbor or that's my brother, but I know that he wears a ring. So I think anything like that can be helpful as long as it's put in the context in which it has been. So I think that's a very good thing. But I think with the video, again, watching how this person walks, watching how this person carries himself, and I think watching to see the comfort level that he seems to have with the holster in a place where most people would never wear it suggests to me that that's not the first time that he's worn it in that location, even though most of us will look at that and think that that is odd. So I think going to gun stores and showing that to people to get their thoughts on who do you know that wears a gun like this, because it is so unusual. I doubt that's the first time he's worn it like that.
Yeah. What about the gloves? Obviously, there was a lot of gloves, and a lot of people didn't put too much sort of credence in where they had found those gloves so far away. What did you think about that? How big of a setback is that?
I don't consider that a setback. I think that's something that they had to do. And yes, if the gloves are commonly sold and purchased in Walmart, the chances were good that it would not be a match. But I think when they do additional testing, we don't know what could happen. But I think looking at the clothing, the outfit, he was wearing an outfit, and he may have purchased all those pieces together in a Walmart store, not thinking that investigators were going to zero in on that so quickly. And so with Walmart's cooperation and all the cameras that they have in the store, if they can identify someone that bought several of those items or most of them on one day, that will be a huge leap forward in the investigation.
Yeah, Cece, explain to us, if they don't have any hits, right, in the FBI database, and they go out to the companies, the genealogy companies, how does that process work?
Well, unfortunately, even though there are over 50 million people who have taken direct consumer DNA tests, law enforcement is barred from the 3 largest databases. So we're limited to the 2 smallest databases, or 3, when you work these cases. So that's less than 2 million profiles. That doesn't mean it can't be solved, though, because we have had success in many cases. It just might take longer. So that unidentified DNA has to be reanalyzed in order to create a different type of DNA profile called a SNP profile. I imagine they have already been working on that in parallel with creating the traditional law enforcement profile that's used for CODIS. That's one of the reasons it was actually very smart to go to this private lab, because they have capability to build both of those so they can start that investigative genetic genealogy process as soon as they don't get that DNA CODIS match. Now, I don't know if they will go ahead and try to identify the owner of that glove, since it didn't end up matching the person whose DNA was in the home, but they could start that right away if that's something they decide to pursue.
Mary Ellen, before we go, you have the entire country watching this case, right? You have all these tech companies offering to help out. You have Google working on this, the FBI, and yet we still don't have a great suspect description. We don't know who did this. We don't know where Nancy is. What can we draw from that?
Well, I think that the message that comes through for me is that even though this person did have some odd behavior while he was on the porch, he planned this ahead of time, and he was prepared. He went at a time of day when he would not be identified. He covered his face. He took steps that he could get away with this crime, and he did successfully. So I think that goes to his personality, and it goes to the idea that he planned this enough ahead of time with enough protection to be able to walk away seemingly as though he never existed. But with all this technology, with all these people, he couldn't plan for everything. And I think that's why this case is going to be resolved.
You think this person is hiding, or you think they're out in the open?
No, I think this person is not necessarily out in the open, but I don't think that he has been completely removed like the Unabomber did in Lincoln, Montana. I also think he's closely monitoring the case and monitoring the news reports on the case to see just how close law enforcement has come to him. I think there's an arrogance about this individual who thinks he's gotten away with it because he's smarter than the police. That's not the case at all.
Cece, Mary Ellen, so great to have you guys both here. We thank you, and I'm sure we'll continue the conversation in the days ahead. Now to our other breaking headline, terrifying moments in our nation's capital. Police say a man with a loaded shotgun wearing a tactical vest rushed the Capitol building. Ryan Nobles joins Top Story live tonight from the Hill. Ryan, this sounds kind of crazy. How did the police stop him? What more do we know about him?
Well, we're told by Capitol Police that this 18-year-old man left a vehicle that was parked nearby the Capitol and started rushing the Capitol with a loaded shotgun. Immediately, Capitol Police officers confronted him, and he surrendered. He actually laid down and put the gun off to the side. Now, he was wearing a tactical gear. He had a tactical vest on. When they searched his car, they found additional rounds of ammunition, a Kevlar helmet, and a gas mask. So they don't exactly know what the motive was behind this right now, but this could have been a very dangerous situation. And keep in mind, this is something that Capitol Police prepare for. In fact, the Capitol Police chief said today that they had run an active shooter situation drill in that exact location just a few months ago, Tom.
And then, Ryan, how crowded was the Capitol at the time of this incident? Lawmakers are on recess this week, but obviously there's staffers and people like you, media, covering the Capitol every day.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly wasn't as busy as it could have been because all 535 members of Congress are back in their home states and their districts as part of this recess period. But you're right. The Capitol is still a bustling place even during a recess week. There are many staffers working in their district or in their D.C. offices during a week like this. But, Tom, keep in mind, we're just a week away from the State of Union address. If this had happened next week, it would have been a much different security posture. But Capitol Police tell us tonight that they're not making any changes or plans to their protection around the State of the Union based on what they saw here today. Tom.
All right, Ryan Nobles, we thank you for that, covering that breaking story out of the Capitol. Next tonight, we're learning new details about how that deadly shooting at a high school hockey game in Rhode Island came to an end. Authorities praising brave bystanders who stepped in. NBC's Emily Aketa is there with the latest.
Tonight, video of the deadly shooting at a high school hockey game in Rhode Island, showing players rushing off the ice, and this angle capturing the critical moments as it unfolded. You can see a person putting someone who appears to be the suspected shooter in a chokehold.
Their courage undoubtedly prevented further loss and injury, and we thank them for that.
Police say 56-year-old Robert Dorgan, who also went by Roberta, shot and killed ex-wife Rhonda Dorgan and son Aiden in the stands before pulling out a second gun and dying by suicide. One of the suspect's daughters, Amanda, speaking to NBC affiliate WJAR.
His whole adulthood, he's struggled with mental health issues, but when somebody doesn't want to get help, they won't.
Court documents show Rhonda Dorgan filed for divorce from Robert in 2020, citing gender reassignment surgery, narcissistic and personality disorder traits, which was crossed out and replaced with irreconcilable differences. Hours after witnessing her loved ones get shot, Amanda writing on GoFundMe, "Our family has been forever changed," adding her younger siblings, including one playing in yesterday's game, are now facing the future without their parents and older brother. Teams seen returning to the arena to collect equipment a day after the shooting.
I was on the ice, and I thought it was balloons at first.
While people in the community show their support, placing hockey sticks on doorsteps and outside the arena.
Emily Aketa joins us now live from outside that hockey arena. Emily, was there any kind of confrontation before the shooting?
Well, based on video, Tom, police do not believe there was any kind of confrontation or even conversation between the suspect and the family just before the shooting that killed 2 people and also critically injured 3 others. Police identifying those injured as Rhonda Dorgan, the ex-wife's parents, and also a family friend, Tom.
And then before you go, where does the investigation stand right now? There's still some questions unanswered.
Well, police right now still trying to piece together a motive. They say they are combing through tens of thousands of social media posts. They are also conducting search warrants. Already, they've interviewed some 100-plus witnesses. But, of course, some of the most important perspectives coming from those who are still in the hospital, Tom.
Okay, Emily Aketa, we thank you for that. Tonight, we are mourning the loss of a titan of the civil rights movement. The Reverend Jesse Jackson has died at the age of 84. Jackson was an influential activist, a Baptist minister, and he ran for president twice. Today, the tributes poured in from those he helped pave the way for.
For nearly 6 decades, Jesse Jackson lived on the front lines of the civil rights movement. Relentless in his fight and armed with that booming voice. When he ran for president, his Secret Service code name was Thunder.
On tomorrow night and beyond, keep hope alive.
The Baptist minister was born in Greenville, South Carolina, as a young man working closely with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Jackson's life changing just 3 years later when an assassin shot and killed Dr. King in Memphis.
When we turned, all we could see was police coming. Police were coming from the direction of the shot.
Jackson and other activists kept the civil rights movement alive.
I may be poor, but I am somebody.
As his influence grew, Jackson would launch a presidential bid in 1984.
Our flag is red, white, and blue, but our nation is rainbow. Red, yellow, brown, black, and white, we're all precious in God's sight.
But the campaign was derailed when he admitted using an anti-Semitic slur in a private conversation.
However innocent and unintended, it was insensitive and wrong.
Jackson came very close to the nomination with another presidential run in 1988, cementing a leading role in the party.
We must find common ground as a basis for survival and development and change and growth.
20 years later, an emotional Jackson witnessed America elect its first black president, Barack Obama. Today, Barack and Michelle Obama calling him a true giant, saying Reverend Jackson also created opportunities for generations of African Americans and inspired countless more, including us, adding, "We stood on his shoulders." The activist, also a father and a husband whose lifetime of service shifted generations.
Use love to motivate you and obligate you to serve the human family. Young America, dream.
Again, Jesse Jackson was 84 years old. We're following some breaking news right now. A desperate search is underway out west after an avalanche buried nearly a dozen backcountry skiers in the Sierras. That same storm system sparking a deadly 30-car pileup in Colorado. Our Morgan Chesky has the latest.
Tonight, a series of winter storms slamming western states with drenching rains, heavy snow, and high winds.
Look at that.
In Colorado, dozens of cars and semis piling up in a crash leaving 4 people dead and 29 hospitalized. Authorities saying visibility plunged amid wind-blown dust. A mangled mess shutting down I-25 in both directions.
We're going to make sure we have everyone accounted for.
While in California, a near whiteout in the Sierra, where rescue teams are searching for a group of skiers following an avalanche this morning.
We're reported as 9 to 10 people buried, 3 others attempting to dig them out.
The blizzard-like conditions hitting drivers too, closing down nearly 150 miles of freeway.
It looked like he was skidding a little bit, and he was trying to avoid me, but unfortunately he didn't.
Near Los Angeles, intense rains filling city streets, sidelining delivery robots, and forcing Waymos to pull off roads until conditions cleared up. The multiple storms now blamed for growing travel headaches, flight delays now topping more than 4,000 nationwide, and a separate storm system bringing rain and snow from the upper Midwest to New England tomorrow. While California and the Rockies may see more potential rain and snow this weekend, those headaches could get even worse. And this wild weather across the West could impact the Northeast by the end of the week.
And with that, Morgan Chesky joins us now from Altadena, California. Morgan, we're getting breaking details about the search for those skiers out of Nevada.
Yeah, Tom, we're learning more about this group. This was a group of 12 skiers and 4 guides. And at last check, 6 of those skiers have been found by those search and rescue crews. No word on their current condition, but that does leave another 10 more that remain missing. This is a backcountry ski area, Tom, just to the north of Lake Tahoe that, of course, had been recently experiencing feet of snow as a result of these recent storms there. Tom?
Yeah, that search and rescue operation ongoing. As we mentioned, you're in Altadena. We remember those fires there a year ago. We're also seeing all that mud behind you there. Talk to our viewers about what's happening there, because landslides are a major concern right now.
Yeah, especially with more rain coming tonight and throughout the remainder of this week. That is why officials here in Altadena have put up a number of these concrete barriers in and around these hillside neighborhoods. Should a portion of this hillside that is still fire-scarred give way, these barriers can slow or even stop that mudslide before it reaches these nearby neighborhoods. Tom?
Morgan Chesky for us. Morgan, we thank you. We're back in a moment here on Top Story with the new standoff between CBS and Stephen Colbert. The late-night host sounding off, claiming the network pulled the plug on one of his interviews, how both sides are responding tonight. Plus, the fiery explosion at a church. Look at this. Flames tearing through the building, leaving multiple people hurt, including the pastor. What caused this? And a shocking crash caught on camera, a truck going airborne. Wow. Slamming through the side of a home. We'll show you that wild scene and tell you what happened to the people inside. It's all coming up ahead on Top Story. We're back now with the late night call out. The Late Show host Stephen Colbert accusing his network, CBS, of refusing to air an interview with a Texas Senate candidate, citing recent guidance by the FCC. Here's some of what Colbert had to say.
You know who is not one of my guests tonight? That's Texas State Representative James Tallarico. He was supposed to be here, but we were told in no uncertain terms by our network's lawyers, who called us directly, that we could not have him on the broadcast. Then I was told in some uncertain terms that not only could I not have him on, I could not mention me not having him on.
All right, the interview with the Senate candidate James Tallarico was posted on YouTube and has gotten more than 2 million views. I want to bring in NBC's Garrett Haake here for the latest. So, Garrett, how is CBS responding tonight? Because I know they've come out with their own statement.
Yeah, they put out a statement this afternoon, Tom, and said that the Late Show wasn't prohibited from doing this interview with James Tallarico, that they were merely given legal guidance, they say, that the broadcast could trigger what's called the equal time rule that would require the broadcast to then put on these other candidates. I don't know where the truth of this lies, Tom. I bet it'll come up on tonight's broadcast. But I do, if we think about it here, if NBC told you you couldn't interview me for this show, I don't know that we'd be able to use your set and my camera and lights to just turn around and put it online. So the truth is probably somewhere in the middle here.
But peel back the curtain a little for our viewers here on what the FCC calls the equal time rule, right? Which means a broadcast station must offer every political candidate in an election an opportunity to sort of appear on the air if they are featuring one. Daytime and late-night TV shows are exempt from this, but recently FCC Chairman Brendan Carr sent a letter warning of a possible change.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. And the late night and daytime talk shows have really only been considered exempt since 2006, for sure. That's when Jay Leno's segment kind of sparked this idea that they should be treated like news broadcasts and that their programs would be exempt as well. This letter from Brendan Carr that came out in late January said they're revisiting that finding. They don't think that that's necessarily the case, and they say specifically that a program that they find to be motivated by partisan purposes wouldn't be entitled to that exemption. We know that the Trump administration has viewed a lot of programming all across the media landscape, but particularly these late night shows as biased against Republicans. And so I think what you have here, or at least the way Colbert describes it, is CBS looking at that letter, which talks about a future change and not wanting to trigger it by making this move to keep Tallarico off the TV version of The Late Show.
Yeah, and then I know that interview with Tallarico now getting millions of views. We mentioned that. Here's some of what he had to say on Colbert on the matter. Let's listen.
This is the party that ran against cancel culture, and now they're trying to control what we watch, what we say, what we read. And this is the most dangerous kind of cancel culture, the kind that comes from the top.
That essentially just drew more attention to this interview, and people are obviously finding it online, and everyone has a phone in their hand these days.
Right. I mean, it's a classic example of the Streisand effect. The idea of saying, don't look at this thing makes people want to go look at that thing. The YouTube version of The Late Show got more viewers than the typical airing of The Late Show gets. On social media, this has been everywhere today, Tom, as you know, and it happens on the first day of early voting in Texas. So for the Tallarico campaign, it's a boon at exactly the right time in that primary campaign.
Yeah, a lot of people know his name tonight. All right, Garrett Haake, we thank you for that. Coming up, the terrifying kidnapping attempt caught on camera. A man nearly snatching a little girl at a supermarket. Look at this. How people rushed in to save her, other shoppers. Plus, pollution in the Potomac. This is a gross one. Millions of gallons of sewage spilling out into the famed river. The latest on the environmental disaster just outside the nation's capital. We're back now with Top Stories Newsfeed. We start with those high-level nuclear talks between the U.S. and Iran. A U.S. official tells NBC News negotiators made progress, but there's still a lot of details to hash out before a deal can be reached. Iran's foreign minister essentially saying the same. It all comes as the Iranian supreme leader also issued a new warning to the U.S. over its military buildup in the Middle East. In Italy, a terrifying scene caught on camera when a man allegedly attempts to kidnap a child from her mother's arms. You can see the suspect appearing to try to snatch the little girl as they walk out of a grocery store. Other shoppers quickly jumping in to help stop the attacker. Italian police say officers arrested him and that the girl was left with a fractured femur. A massive explosion destroying a church in upstate New York, and state police say 5 people were hurt. 3 firefighters, a fire chief, and a pastor. Hospital officials tell us they're in critical but stable condition tonight. According to investigators, crews responded after people reported smelling gas inside the church, and that explosion happened when the furnace turned on. Okay, some shocking doorbell camera video out of Oregon capturing the moment a truck went airborne. You got to see this. It crashed into a house. You can see it soaring there in the air before slamming into the building. Police say the truck launched off a mound on the side of the road, flying roughly 100 feet through the air. Thankfully, the family inside the home wasn't hurt. We're told the driver is now facing reckless driving charges. Wow. Okay, in Maryland, a race to clean up what has been called one of the worst sewage spills in U.S. history. Nearly 250 million gallons of wastewater pouring into the Potomac after a major pipe collapsed last month. NBC's Tom Costello has more.
The river George Washington called the nation's river is tonight off limits and contaminated after a 60-year-old sewage line in Maryland broke open last month, spewing more than 240 million gallons of raw waste into the river, the same river that flows past the Kennedy Center and the Lincoln Memorial and used by boaters, kayakers, high school and college rowing teams.
So you can see some of the toilet paper and the sewage up on the banks there.
Riverkeeper Dean Neljokes says the stench and environmental damage are staggering, with E. coli levels more than 10,000 times above EPA quality standards at the time of the spill. While slowly coming down, health experts warn no one should be boating, fishing, or even touching the Potomac. Is drinking water at all affected here?
No, from day one, drinking water has never been impacted by this.
But massive boulders that collapsed into the 6-foot-wide pipe are delaying the repairs. Meanwhile, President Trump has blamed Maryland's Democratic Governor Wes Moore for gross mismanagement, while Moore fired back, saying the pipe was federally built and regulated, and the Trump EPA has been slow to respond. The fear now, the Potomac may not be safe for months. You used to swim right here?
I've swam right here.
Would you swim in here again?
Not for a while.
DC Water expects to have the immediate repair job done by mid-March, but overhauling the entire line could take at least 9 months. Tom?
All right, Tom Costello for us. Tom, thank you. Coming up next, the founder of Ring joins Top Story. We asked him about those surveillance images in the Nancy Guthrie case and how he thinks investigators found them. Plus, we press him on the growing concerns about privacy and that controversial Super Bowl ad. Stay with us. We're back now with our Top Story Spotlight interview with the man behind the product on millions of homes all across the country. Ring cameras. Doorbell surveillance video from one of Ring's competitors, of course, has been a significant source of evidence in the Nancy Guthrie case. This footage we've shown many times on our air showing a mask-gloved figure in front of the 84-year-old's door came from one of Google's Nest doorbell cams, even though Guthrie did not have a Nest subscription. FBI Director Kash Patel saying the video was recovered from residual data in back-end systems. Its retrieval is raising new questions on privacy, adding to already growing concerns about the smart doorbells being used in about 20% of American homes. Joining me now is Jamie Siminoff. He's the founder and chief inventor of Amazon's Ring, the dominant doorbell technology in the U.S. Jamie, so great for you to be with us. It's kind of crazy. It's almost, you can't remember a time when you didn't have a Ring camera in your house, and now every home has them. I know in the Nancy Guthrie case, it's a Nest camera. It's not your same technology. But I think people at home are sort of wondering, how are they able to scrub that camera and get those images? Because it is sort of incredible.
It is incredible, and it's incredible, I mean, how valuable that video footage has been in the case, and we've seen that in other cases across the country and really around the world since our technology has been invented. What I will say is I did architect the systems. I mean, I invented Ring and architect the systems at Ring. We don't have that residual storage at Ring, and so whether you don't have if you don't have a subscription, we don't store it at all, and if you have a subscription, you store it. If you delete a video, we basically in real time delete the video off of our servers.
So if you don't have a subscription, you hit the doorbell, camera comes on, it captures an image, it goes nowhere in the Ring camera. If you don't have a subscription, it deletes itself?
It's never stored anywhere, yes.
It's never stored anywhere. What do you think happened with these Nest cameras? What can you surmise? Listen, I know you didn't invent it, but I mean, you got to know the technology, right? Well, you're one of the founding fathers.
I understand how databases work, and certainly in a database, if you store something, if you don't write a deletion on it, it will sort of basically have some remnant. It's, you know, it'll just, I always say it's like the kitchen trash. You know, if you put the bottle in there, it doesn't go out until until I take it out, you know, in a week.
Yeah.
So it just basically stays in the trash can in essence. So it's still kind of there. Well, the way we work is that we either don't put it in there or we immediately take it out, basically.
Was that a choice that you made when you invented the technology? I mean, was it an option you could have said, maybe we just keep it in here just in case?
Well, it's definitely harder to do it where you're like, it's a clean way of doing it, but we also figure that if you delete or if you don't have a subscription, you don't want to have that data. So we're figuring that is like how you wanted to maintain the data. So we just don't. That's how we built it.
There's a deeper conversation here, right? Because as I was reading the script here, there are people that are concerned about what gets saved and what doesn't get saved in these cameras, and yet in this case, I will tell you, the Guthrie family, I am sure, is so grateful that it was saved, that there were some images here. It's sort of a philosophical debate about how far do you want to be, how far do you want these cameras to go. In this case, I'm sure people are grateful they captured something.
I think it's a good way of at least seeing that, like, how important it is, one, to have the cloud storage, because also that person took the doorbell off. So just by having cloud storage, which is how we designed this, it goes to the cloud. So if you do want to keep the data, that if someone did come to your house and sort of knocked it off, that you would have kept that. So I think it's like shows how important it is. And I think it is a wake up for people that if you maybe didn't have this and you want to have the, video stored, that this is something you should get on and do.
Yeah, again, and I know this is the Nest cameras, not the Ring cam, but since you know about this, you're an expert, if you could explain it. We heard today from the sheriff in this case, and they said basically Google's going back to these cameras, and it's taking days for them to use the word scrub. And they have to go, I think it's 8 layers or 8 generations. I'm not even sure that's the right terminology. Why does it take so many days for them to kind of go back to try to find those images? How does that work?
Yeah, and I don't know, again, I wouldn't know how it works on theirs. I mean, it's something in the database, and obviously where they still have this data stored, so it's taking them time to figure it out, or that's where the database is. For Ring, we, if it is stored and our customers have that, then obviously they can then just, share it off of there.
Right, but you have no idea why it would take days for people to go back to find these files, I guess.
I guess it's in some ways it's digging through the trash, right? It just takes time to find like the actual thing that's in there, because it's kind of not stored in it's not like it's stored in a file system. Yeah. It's like obviously been sort of discarded somewhere.
All right, you guys had an ad during the Super Bowl that got a lot of attention. If we can play that for our viewers now, we'll talk about it on the other end.
This is Milo. Pets are family. But every year, 10 million go missing. And the way we look for them hasn't changed in years. Until now. One post of a dog's photo in the Ring app starts outdoor cameras looking for a match. Search Party from Ring uses AI to help families find lost dogs. Since launch, more than a dog a day has been reunited with their family. Be a hero in your neighborhood with Search Party. Available to everyone for free right now. Join the neighborhood at ring.com.
So I'm going to say there's going to be two types of people that watch this ad. People that are like, wow, that is incredible. What a great idea. And other people going, whoa, 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 wait a minute. Why can my neighbors access my Ring camera? Where do you stand on this, and what did you learn from this experience at the Super Bowl?
I mean, certainly what we learned from the experience is that your neighbors can't access your Ring camera. What it's doing is it allows, like, if we find a dog, so we're going to say, like, Tom, this dog that's missing in the neighborhood that was posted looks like this dog in front of your camera. Do you want to contact your neighbor? And so we give every owner of the Ring camera, they have 100% control, privacy, anonymity, and then they can choose to talk to their neighbor.
But it feels like, okay, someone's monitoring then the images in my camera, correct?
I think, so we launched the service in September. We talked about the service in September. We launched it in November. We've been talking about it. It's a 30-second commercial. Those are very tough to tell, like, the full story in. Certainly, based on the concern we saw, yes, I wish we had, like, put in a little bit more of that, the optionality and how it works. 30 seconds is tough. And
I have a Ring camera. Is this feature already out? Is it operational?
The feature's already out, and so
what is the feedback you're getting? Has it saved any dogs? Has it found any dogs?
We're reuniting 1 dog per day on average.
1 dog per day. You already know this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We've over 100 dogs have been reunited with their families through this feature. And again, your privacy is maintained. So if you get an alert for this, if you say, like, I don't want to do anything, no one knows. Like, you're totally fine. It's only if it's the same thing as finding a dog in your backyard. Looking at the tag on it, seeing the phone number, and deciding whether or not to call it or not.
So
that's all we're doing.
About how this works then with law enforcement, right? Because there was a partnership with Flock. Explain what happened there and why it went sideways.
So we have a thing called Community Request. It's a totally separate thing than Search Party for dogs. Community Request is what was used, like, for example, in the Brown shooting. The local police department was able to request footage from the people in the neighborhood and say, like, this incident just happened, can you send us footage? Again, to the anonymous side and the privacy, if you don't want to do that, if you say no, they don't even know who they asked. If you think you have footage and you send it, great, then you can help out, which is what we find most of our neighbors want to do. I mean, we build these features for our neighbors. We work with companies with that for free, by the way. There's no financial terms. Axon is one of the companies we work with for that. We started working, we announced that we were going to work with Flock. We never got the integration done. There was a lot of concern on that. We decided, both as Flock and Ring decided.
Why okay to find dogs, not okay to find bad guys?
So actually the dogs comes from, we have a neighbors app, and it's the number one, like the most posted thing on our neighbors app is lost dogs.
Yeah.
So finding lost dogs is really because our neighbors are looking for lost dogs. Like that's the biggest problem we're seeing in the neighborhood. And so we built the feature because there's no other way to do it other than driving around and yelling for your dog or putting up a sign.
What's the argument against not helping law enforcement trying to find bad guys? People breaking into cars, homes.
I would say it's misinformation, but I don't think that's fair. I think it's a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And I think it's our job to show you that you can control your privacy, you can have your security, you can control your video, and also when something happens, help the neighborhood. Both things can be true. And it's a message that it's like my job to get that out there to show that we are maintaining your privacy and security while also allowing you, when something happens, when there's a missing dog or when there's something happening in your neighborhood, to work with the people if you want to.
And what do you say to people that are like, well, then that sounds great, but how do I make sure that the FBI, the CIA is not listening to my conversation when I'm outside with my wife or I'm on a cell phone call, a business call? How do I make sure that the CIA gets a warrant, the FBI gets a warrant now? If I'm having a private phone conversation, it's being recorded and sent directly to the government.
I mean, they don't, but I can also say we also offer end-to-end encryption. So if you actually are depending on, we have it as an option. So depending on how worried you are about things like that, we literally have end-to-end encryption. That just you're done.
Give me the origin story for this, for Ring Cam, because I'm sort of fascinated by the whole device because you see it everywhere.
Yeah, so I am an inventor. I kind of done a few little things, nothing really that successful. Lived in Los Angeles, had a house with a garage in the back into the back of the street of the alley. Couldn't hear the front door. Looked for, I just got an iPhone. Looked for a Wi-Fi doorbell. None existed. Built one, and my wife said this makes me feel safer at home. And that was really the start of the whole thing. It was called Doorbot at the time. Went on Shark Tank.
I want to play that. We have the clip of you on Shark Tank because I think this is amazing that you didn't partner up. Let's listen to see what happened on Shark Tank.
Introducing the Doorbot, the first ever video doorbell built for the smartphone. With Doorbot, you can see and speak with visitors from anywhere.
I've got to be able to say, you know what, when I jump in, I've got to add enough value that this company, instead of being worth $7 million, should be worth 80 million, 90 million. I just don't see that progression, and for that reason, I'm out.
All right, 80 million. How much is the Ring camera worth now?
Well, we sold it for $1.15 billion in 2000.
1.15. Mark Cuban. I'm sure he's swell. Have you talked to Mark Cuban since then?
Yeah, I have. And they're great. But Shark Tank's a great show. Has helped so many families and people sort of get into entrepreneurial activities and to inspired them. But yes, he was definitely on that one. I think he might have been wrong.
Jamie, when did you realize you had sort of changed life as we know it in the United States? When did that moment hit you?
It's funny. It wasn't until a few years ago that I finally had this moment where I was driving around and I realized just how impactful this had been. I think when you're building a business, it's hard to kind of see outside. You're always focused on the problems and fixing things. And it was there's a few stories that hit in different places where just the impact of this. And I realized I think we've in a lot of ways, we've changed the world in our little space.
Jamie Siminoff, we thank you for coming on Top Story, answering our questions, and we thank you for that Ring Cam. I have one in my house. Appreciate it. Thanks, when we come back, a look at all the action from the Winter Games in Milan Cortina, including the big night for Team USA's Blade Angels, taking the ice for women's figure skating. Plus, Ilya Malinin opening up about his disappointing finish in the free skate and why he says he wasn't ready for the pressure of performing on the Olympic stage. Stay with us. We're back now checking in on the action at the Milan Cortina Winter Olympic Games. Team USA maintaining its third-place spot in the medal count behind Norway and host country Italy. The latest American medals coming from the men's speed skaters who snagged silver today in the team competition. And freestyle skier Mac Forehand, that's his name, who finished with a silver medal in the big air final. For more on the day's action, I want to bring in Stephanie Gosk, who's been tracking it all for us from Milan. Stephanie, let's talk women's figure skating, the so-called Blade Angels, taking the ice today for part one of two in the individual competition. It was not the skate Amber Glenn was hoping for, and Team Japan looking very strong.
Yeah, Tom. I mean, it was heartbreaking to watch Amber Glenn because she actually completed her hardest trick, and that's the triple axel. She was only one of two skaters tonight who even tried it, and she landed it. And then she made an error that basically has taken her out of contention for a medal. You know, all three of the Blade Angels came in with a possibility of getting a medal. You had Alyssa Liu, Amber Glenn, and Isabeau Levito. But tonight, after this event, it's really Alyssa Liu, who is in third place right now, that has a chance for a medal after the free skate, Tom.
Yeah, we'll be rooting her on. And Stephanie, it's been a few days since Ilya Malinin was upset in the men's individual figure skating final after multiple falls. It was so dramatic to watch there in Milan, and we were there together. You had the chance to speak with him about how he's been handling the last few days. What did he tell you?
You know, Tom, you can probably say this too. It was one of the most heartbreaking moments of these Olympics. And he's a young kid. He's 21 years old. And I think everyone's heart broke for him on the ice. But he's had a couple of days to think about this. And I'll tell you, when I talked to him, I was really struck by how honest he was, how poised he was, and how gracious he was. Listen to what he had to say. I would imagine in the last couple of days, you've been getting a lot of advice from people. Is there one thing that has helped you that you've heard from somebody?
Is really that medals don't define who you are. It's always just, you know, what you do, how you do it, and the person you are that defines you in your own way.
Does that help you? Are you able to take that message and actually really act on it?
Yes, I definitely, you know, felt it, and just the amount of support, the amount of love I've gotten, you know, past few days is, I'm truly just blessed for all of that. It's something I honestly did not expect going into these games, but just having all of that love, support, emotion, and, you know, I just really took it at heart.
Have you needed that love and support in an entirely different way?
Honestly, it's everything that I could have wished for and everything that I wanted. That support from friends, family, fans, you know, even people like Simone, Snoop, Tom Brady, Steph Curry, they're all just, that was just something unreal for me in that moment. That feeling is, you know, I'm truly blessed to do what I do, because in the end, you always get something from it.
When you finished your performance, you put your head in your hands. What went through your head?
It was honestly not the best, and knowing that I just finished, you know, on the biggest stage in the world and had the skate that was probably the most unlikely skate that I thought would have happened. It was just devastating in the moment. I just felt like I let myself down. I, you know, let the people I care about down, and I just felt really awful in the moment. But, you know, and nevertheless, you know, getting off, it's still always a pleasure and always a blessing for me to even be at the Olympics. So I'm still grateful for that, and I definitely, you know, pushed all the energy, and all of us for that team event pushed everything we had into it, and it really just helped us, you know, gain this gold medal.
Yeah. Were you surprised by how different Olympic ice was?
Really surprised. It was, you know, caught me off guard, honestly. You know, just not only the ice, just that Olympic environment, that Olympic pressure, and, you know, even all the other pressure around me going in as, you know, the Olympic gold hopeful, or, you know, the quad god as I'm named, is, it really just caught me off guard. And it just, you know, all that pressure right before getting on the ice just, you know, kind of made me collapse a little bit. So just looking at that, I just, you know, want to understand why that happened and what I should do in the future for that to, you know, have a different outcome.
Do you think that there are things that you have learned that you're now going to take with you?
Absolutely. There's so much I've learned throughout this Olympic experience, and it's just, you know, I'm so grateful to be here, first of all. I think that it's, you know, everyone has been there for me from my team. I always say that everything happens for a reason. God puts there the way he wants to put it. So I'm always taking that for granted, and just knowing that, you know, there's always something that has to be done.
The Olympics is brutal in so many ways, also because the next one is 4 years away. Can you even allow yourself at this point to think about the next Olympics?
I think I'm okay with thinking about the next Olympics, because even without, no matter what the result was here, I would have still wanted to go there, because I simply enjoy figure skating. I have a passion for it. I love to do what I do on the ice, and no matter the result, I'm always motivated to, you know, come out and do better, or, you know, just keep on skating, matter of fact.
And after the exhibition, you're going straight to Worlds, right?
Yes, I will be going back home. I have a few weeks to train, and then, you know, straight to Worlds. And I feel like Worlds for me this year is going to be different from any other year, because I want to call it the redemption competition. So I really want to go out there and skate better than I did here.
All right, our thanks to Stephanie Goss for that great conversation, and to Ilya Malinin for opening up about the pressures of these Olympics. We thank you for watching Top Story tonight. I'm Tom Llamas in New York. Stay right there. More news on the way. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.